Welcome to our meeting again. Who shall I say hello first? Nimi? Nimi? Please unmute your microphone. Okay, where are you from?
Sri Lanka.
From Sri Lanka. This is your first time to join our meeting?
First time.
Yes, welcome. Can I help you? What would you like to ask? Anything? Any question?
Nothing particular.
Nothing particular?
Yeah.
You just want to listen?
Listen, please.
Okay, fine. Maybe later on, if you have any question, we can ask later. Okay? Okay. Now, let me go to Kok Seng. Hi, Kok Seng from Singapore.
Hi, good evening, Ajahn.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. May I just clarify about your instructions of how to do?
Can you speak a bit louder or you move
Okay.
closer? Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Can I just clarify about your instructions of how to be successful in meditation? We have to stay focused and be mindful of every actions. So what I did was when I'm walking, I try to remind myself, okay, I'm walking. Then when I come to, when I'm traveling on the public bus, I tell myself, okay, now I will close my eyes. I will do some silent chanting. So at every steps of the way, I try to remind myself to be mindful of every actions. So just to clarify, so is this the correct way of doing?
Yes, the goal is to stop thinking, just to be merely knowing. So you have to focus on something to prevent your mind from going away, going somewhere else, thinking about something else. The goal is to let the mind stop thinking and just let the mind knowing what you see, what you hear, but don't just know and don't think about them. Don't react emotionally. Because you want to stop thinking when you meditate. If you want to get into jhana, if you want to find peace and happiness, real peace and happiness is in the jhanas, nowhere else. The happiness you gain from wealth, from status, they are tainted with suffering, with worries and anxiety, because they are not permanent, they are not fixed, they can change, they can disappear, and you don't want that to happen. So you become unhappy or sad when you lose what you gain. So it's better to find happiness from meditation, because you can always have it. Once you know how to meditate, then you can always have it, anytime, anywhere, any condition. Doesn't matter how your body is, whether your body is old or not, sick or not, or dying or not, you can still have this happiness. But if you rely on happiness from other things, then once the body is not capable, then you will not be able to find any happiness. So this is the purpose of training in mindfulness, to stop your mind from thinking, to focus on one thing, one object. Your body, if you're moving around, or if you like to recite a mantra, you can use that in place of the body. So it's up to you. But eventually you will have to sit down and be still. Keep the body still before you can still your mind completely. But before you can do that, you need to train yourself in mindfulness as much as possible. So you will have the strength to focus, to concentrate on your breath when you sit down and meditate. Or if you like, you can concentrate on reciting the mantra Bhutto Bhutto. Then your mind will be able to enter into jhana, to peace, stillness, and happiness. So you need to do both, training in mindfulness, and then sit down and meditate. If you meditate without mindfulness, your mind will be constantly thinking, restless and agitated, and you will never get any calm. But if you just train yourself in mindfulness without sitting in meditation, your mind won't enter into jhana that way. You have mindfulness, but not jhana. If you want jhana, you have to sit down and you have to have strong mindfulness. Okay?
Jhana, to enter jhana, I need to sit down in meditation so as to achieve the jhana states.
That's right. And when you sit down and meditate, don't anticipate, don't think about the jhanas. Don't think about anything. Just keep focusing on your breath or on your mantra. And whatever comes up during meditation, just ignore everything. Okay?
I'm walking, I just imagine walking, and any thoughts that arise. For example, if there's a beautiful lady walk past, just be mindful of don't be pulled away by the pretty lady, and then just focus on my mindfulness, on my walking.
Yeah, just come back to your mindfulness. Don't follow what you see or hear. Okay? Leave everything alone, let them be. All right? Is this good enough?
Yeah, Ajahn.
Okay. Let me go to Kalfai Lim from Malaysia. Hi, Kalfai.
Yes, hi. Good day to you, Ajahn. How are you today?
Please don't ask. Just go ahead and ask the
Okay.
question.
Yes, sure. I have one similar question also. Something relevant to boxing. Is it true that when the mind is in calmness, so there's not necessary to contemplate anything, and that is because if the contemplate is only relevant when we are really ready. If otherwise, the mind will not be in strong enough to contemplate anything or wisdom. Is it true if I put it that way?
Well, the purpose of meditating is to stop your mind from thinking. So when you got that to that point and then you start contemplating, then you start thinking again. So what's the purpose of doing meditation in the first place? If you want to contemplate, you can do it. You don't have to meditate. You can do it now.
Okay.
But when you meditate, you don't want to contemplate.
Yeah.
You just want to keep the mind still for as long as possible. Jhana could last for hours if your mindfulness is strong. And it gives the mind the strength, the equanimity, the strength of equanimity, that it can withstand any happenings.
Yeah. So
Will
which
not be
means,
affected.
yeah, when we have reached easily to equanimity, then we can, when it come up from equanimity, then it's never too late to contemplate something that related to wisdom or anything that crossed the mind.
Well, it's not never too late, but it's just you need the tool before you can contemplate.
Okay, I understand
Like
completely.
before you go to work, you have to eat first, right? Before you go to work, you have to sleep and eat. If you don't sleep and eat, you go to work, what happens?
It's very tiring and cannot focus at all.
That's right. See, vipassana or contemplation is working, studying
Okay.
the true nature of things. like going to a classroom to study. But if you are sleepy or you're tired or you're hungry, how can you study? And you can see the truth.
Yeah.
That's why you need to make the mind refresh, strengthen,
Okay.
give it food first, give it full contentment. Once it has contentment, then it can then contemplate
Contentment.
on
Okay.
things that it is being addicted to or attached to, so that it can let go.
Okay. Contentment. Yeah, take note on that, Ajahn. Thank you, Ajahn.
So these two practices are separate:
Mm.
meditation and contemplation. First, you
Yes.
have to do training in mindfulness before you come to sit down. And when you meditate, you want to calm the mind to become still and peaceful, calm, and have equanimity and
Yes.
contentment. And
Equanimity and
after you withdraw, if you still haven't yet developed a lot of contentment and happiness and equanimity, you should continue on with training yourself in mindfulness first. Only when you are fully content all the time, even after you come out of meditation, then you can go to contemplate.
yes, got it. Because otherwise, without the contentment and equanimity, the contemplation may give some false representation.
Yes, you might see that everything that you are involved with is conducive to pain.
Yeah.
Can hurt you because of its changing nature.
Yes.
But even knowing that if you don't have equanimity, you cannot let go. You still want to engage with those things because they can still give you happiness now, but maybe later on they can then change, or
Okay.
they can be departed from you.
Yes.
And that's when pain comes into your mind. When you lose your loved ones, when you lose something you love.
Okay.
But right now, the ones you love might still be with you. But you have to look into the future. That thing doesn't last, doesn't remain like this. Eventually, there will be separation between
Yeah.
you and your loved ones or things. And when that happens, if you still cling to them, you will be sad.
Yeah.
But if you don't cling to them, you don't rely on them to make you happy anymore. And if if they are gone, they won't make you sad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Understood.
All right.
Sadhu.
Next, Sui and check. Any question today?
Hi, hello, Ajahn. Yeah, just a quick questions. Like, because of certain conditions, like one achieve jhana, is it true that when we lose that conditions, and then he will lose the jhana as well, even though he achieved jhana before?
Well, jhana is temporary. See, it's like putting a bottle of water in the refrigerator. You cool it, but after you take it out for a while, you'll lose that cool in the water because the room temperature is warmer. Same way with jhana. When you enter into jhana, you enter into emptiness, where nothing can cause your mind to become restless or agitated. But when you come out of jhana, when you start to come into contact with the sensual objects, then they can stir up your mind. Then you will be losing your calm and your peace and your equanimity if you don't have strong mindfulness to maintain. So when you come out, you still have to maintain mindfulness, if not contemplating. If your mindfulness is not strong enough, then you want to do more mindfulness training before you go to contemplating. You want to have strong mindfulness all the time so that you can enter into jhana anytime you want, can stop your thoughts anytime you want. Then you can go on to contemplating the three characteristics of existence. And then when you see things as being anicca, dukkha, anatta, then you can then stop relying on them for your happiness. Because you know that happiness is not long-lasting. It's subjected to change, to dissolution.
Okay.
So you want to let go of everything that used to be your source of happiness. Your spaghetti, your pizza, your coffee, your movies, whatever you need them to make you happy, you have to give them all up. And you'll be better because they're like addiction, they're like drugs, you know. When you're addicted to drugs, you have to take drugs to make you happy. But when you cannot take it, then you become terrible. You feel terrible, right? But if you're not addicted to drugs, then you don't have to worry about getting drugs, and you can be happy without drugs. You know? So you can be happy without everything. That's the conclusion of our practice, to be able to be happy without having anything. Because everything costs you pain eventually, sooner or later. Right? When you cannot have it or when you lose it, what happens? What happens when you two separated one day in the future? It's going to happen. I'm not predicting. It's the truth. You know. Have you thought of it? How am I going to live without him or her?
Yes, we think about it, but we didn't think
But
about
it's
how
not-
long.
It's not strong enough yet. It's like you said, the contemplation is without the equanimity, so it's not like it's not.
It's useless. You know, there's going to be separation. There's going to be change. But you don't want it. You still don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
Because you still rely on these things.
Yeah.
But if you have strong equanimity and say, I can be without anything. Because when you're in jhana, you don't need anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
So you want to maintain this equanimity all the time, even after you come out of meditation. And if you seem to lose it, then you have to go back and recharge it in meditation.
Oh, okay. So we have to kind of think like, what make me to get to jhana, but at the same time, we have to maintain it.
Yes, maintain it so that you can then give up everything else. And we depend on the happiness from jhana as your source of happiness. But as you let go of things, then your mind becomes less dependent on things, then becomes more free and happy by itself. Until eventually it doesn't even need jhana to make it happy, because it has found the true happiness, the happiness that gained from giving up everything.
Yeah. And then I found like the more I keep like Buddha for the whole day, I mean, the easier that when we go to meditate. So meaning I have to exert like the effort to keep like Buddha all the time.
That's right. You have to maintain mindfulness. Stop your mind from thinking. Because when your mind thinks, start have greed and hate coming up eventually. and then this will cause your mind to become weak and desiring for things to make it happy.
Sorry,
Okay.
Ajahn, do we for if you don't have enough equanimity in the beginning, we use like willpower, like for example to resist food or entertainment.
Yes, you can do that, but not permanently. See, because in order to give it up permanently, you have to have wisdom to see that you don't need food for the mind. You only need food for the body. And you can give food to the body like you give medicine to the body. You don't have to eat all the time, all day long. Eat once a day, it's good enough for the body. If you eat any more than that, you are feeding the mind, not the body. And the body becomes obese, the result of feeding the mind with food for the body. But the body doesn't need those food. But the mind needs the pleasure from eating food. See? But if you have jhana, your mind won't be as hungry as before, because your mind will be content, have contentment. So it's not hungry anymore like before. So it can give up unnecessary food, let's put it that way. It only takes the necessary food once a day.
The mind is very tricky, Ajahn. Sometimes I feel like so hungry, and then if I meditate and calm down, the hunger is gone. But it was so real. Like it feels so hungry. Like if
You can use contemplation to see if you can fight it. Look at your body. Look at your body weight. Is it overweight or not? If it's overweight, then the body don't need food. And the mind doesn't eat the food anyway. It's the body that eats the food.
Yeah.
So if you have this contemplation, this wisdom, then you can say, oh, so there's no need to give food to the body right now.
Yeah. Right.
So if the mind needs food, it needs jhana. Go to jhana for food. That's the food. That's the food of the mind. That's when the mind becomes full, when you enter into jhana. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Next, Claudia Schweiner from Germany. Any question today, Claudia?
Good afternoon, Venerable Ajahn. I have no questions, but a remark. I started to translate your book, and it's such a joy to translate it. I realized that I feel much better since I started with the translation, and your book helps me very much to deal with the death of my very good friend. So I thank you for the blessing of the book and your permission that I may translate it.
Yes, I think it will be beneficial to other people, other German people also, who cannot read English.
I hope so, yeah.
Okay, you're gonna publish it online, right? On your Facebook or someplace.
Yes, I will publish it online, of course.
Yeah, then your friends can then read them.
Yeah, that's my hope.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
But don't expect too much. Not many people like Dhamma, like they like other books.
Yeah, I know. But I have some German friends, and I think some of them will be interested to read it.
Yeah, just make it available. If they want it, they can have it. If they don't want it, then too bad.
Yeah.
You don't feel discouraged. Yeah.
No, it's encouraging myself to translate it because it's Dhamma.
Yeah, it's more for yourself. When you translate, you also have to have mindfulness, because you have to read and understand what you're reading and try to put in your own language. So you're in a way training in mindfulness and also on wisdom, because the Dhamma teaching is wisdom.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is a good start. Eventually you'll be able to meditate and then contemplate on your own.
Yeah.
All right?
All right. Thank you.
Okay, right. Then we go to Forrest Tom from Massachusetts. Any question today, Forrest?
Hi, Tanajan. I have 2 questions today.
Go ahead.
So my first question is that I've been reflecting on what you had taught us, that if there is suffering, then one of the 3 cravings is present, and finding that it's true. And as soon as I can stop one of the 3 types of craving, it seems like a different one starts up. So what should I do about this?
You just have to keep stopping it. They're like fire, like keep popping up here and there. And without wisdom, you will not be able to stop them permanently yet. You have to use wisdom. Right now, you're just using mindfulness. When you see the fire, you stop it. Stop generating your thoughts. But they'll keep coming back up again and again until you get to wisdom and investigate what do you want? The object that you want, is it permanent or not permanent? Conducive to happiness or not? You have to see this. You have to see that the things that you want is not permanent. And sometimes it gives you happiness, and other time it can give you sadness. Or we have some unwanted friend, okay? So if you have discovered your desire, your cravings, then you have to look at the object of your cravings. What is it? The person that you want to do something for you, then you have to look at that person. Can you always rely on that person to always do what you want to do for you? Sometimes they might do it for you, sometimes they might not do it for you. Then what happens? Then you just have to not rely on that person. Or anything, everything. Sometimes you just want things to be in a certain way, and when it is not, you're not happy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But can you control them or not? Are they atta or anatta?
Mm-hmm.
So if they are anatta, then you just have to let them be. You cannot change them. And you just have to learn to accept them rather than trying to change them. You accept them, whatever they are,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I've been trying to sometimes use mindfulness and sometimes use contemplation to stop the craving. For example, for sexual desire, trying to use asubha, but
Yeah.
I found that often it's very hard to convince the mind to want to do asubha. So the mind still wants to crave and it doesn't want to do the contemplation.
That's because you don't have enough strong mindfulness enough to force it to contemplate.
Okay.
See, it's like a tug of war. Your defilement wants to look at Playboy magazine, and your Dhamma said you should look at the 32 parts. So who wins? In the end, if your mindfulness is not strong enough, then your defilement wins. You open up the Playboy magazine and look.
Yeah. So I just have to keep generating more mindfulness.
And try to see if you have enough. See, when the defilement doesn't come up, you can contemplate on the 32 parts, on the 10 corpses. But as soon as the defilement comes up, when your sexual desire comes up, somehow all the contemplation that you did before seemed to just scare it all, all ran away, and you could not call them back. So this is what really determines how far you are on your contemplation path. When you do it, when there's no defilement, it's easy, right? But as soon as the defilement comes up, can you still do it or not? If you can do it, then you can stop the defilement. So you need practice. You need to contemplate more and more
Okay.
before your defilement arises. So that when your defilement arises, you're ready to use this contemplation to stop it.
Okay.
So it relies on mindfulness, strong mindfulness. And strong mindfulness will give you jhana, and then the strength to be able to contemplate on the asubha.
Okay.
And then you can get rid of your sexual desire that way, permanently.
It's very clear. Thank you, Tanajan.
So keep maintaining mindfulness, keep going into jhana as much as possible. And you can also have to, once you have strong mindfulness and jhana, then you want to keep contemplating on the 32 parts, on the 10 corpses, to see that everybody's body is like that, not good looking as they try to make it to be. They only can fool you because of the skin that's covering all the other unattractive parts. So you have to look inside the skin, under the skin, to see the unattractive parts. So you have to, maybe you can do both, I don't know, sometime mindfulness, sometime asubha contemplation, if you find you have problem with your sexual desire.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you, Tanajan.
All right. Next is Sajal Kar from Silver Spring, Maryland. Hi, how are you? Any question today?
Yes, actually, is it proper to say that unless my meditation is producing results in the sense to bring peace and happiness, which gives an alternative to the peace and happiness that comes from the worldly things, I think that it's difficult to make progress personal level. Is that a fair thing to say?
Yes, the two sides are competing for your attention. See? So you need to have some basic wisdom to remind yourself that the worldly happiness is brief, is temporary, and will always end up in suffering sooner or later. Then this will encourage you to go and practice more, to develop more mental happiness. And then as you have more mental happiness, then you will have the ability to let go more of the worldly happiness. So every time you want to go to a movie, you say, oh, maybe I should meditate. If you want to have something to eat when you don't really have to eat, then say, maybe I better meditate.
Thank you, Ajahn.
You have to switch from finding happiness from worldly things to happiness by meditation instead. Then eventually you can give up everything, because when you look at it with wisdom, you see that everything is not permanent, right? They eventually gonna end one day. The party has to end one day. Either when you get old, get sick, or dying. So there will be no party for you then. What would you do? Then you can only find happiness from meditation. You can do that when you're old, when you're sick, or when you're dying. This will then steer you to keep on meditating, because you're moving closer to old age, sickness, and death. And nothing else can give you happiness once you're old, or when you're sick, or when you're dying, but the happiness from meditation. Okay?
Thank you, Ajahn.
All right. Soling, you're next from London. You have any question?
No, we're just listening. Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. Julia from Colorado, if I'm not mistaken, Colorado.
Hello, Pa Ajahn Suchart. Thank you for remembering where I live. So I think this is a question. So I was doing the parts of the body still every day. I have been. I can go slowly, and I see clearly that the chitta is not any of those parts. And there's more space for the chitta to well, like it sort of naturally decides that the thoughts are not worth engaging. But there are still some like maybe qualities that come and go. But when I woke up this morning, there were still some thoughts. But they went away. But then I heard you say, Ajahn said, meditation is the purpose is to stop thoughts. But this morning when I woke up from bed, there were basic things happening. And last night, I put some water in a glass with a lemon and I drank it, but I took a little sip and it was pleasant. So there was still pleasant and there's still not pleasant, but the mind, it wasn't worth it for the chitta to stay in the object or even in the consciousness arising between the mind and the object for very long. So, but then I heard Ajahn say that the purpose is to stop thoughts altogether, maybe. And so I'm wondering how so is it really altogether, all completely stopping even the qualities? I guess that's my question. There are still like qualities, Ajahn. Thank you.
Well, I'm talking about when you are training in mindfulness, then you don't want to think. But in normal life, normal activity, you still might have to think when you see something or when you taste something. You say, this is good or this is bad. Okay, which is fine so long as you are not reacting to the good or bad of the taste that you know. The goal is not to react emotionally. either attraction or aversion to things that you come across. You just merely know. Just keep the mind in neutral position emotionally, not reacting emotionally to whatever you see or hear, whether it's good or bad. Just know that it's good or it is bad, but don't react. Like when you hear bad news, normally you react with sadness. And when you hear good news, you react with happiness. You don't want to do that as a meditator. Understand? Because
Yes.
good news or bad news, they come and go anyway. If you attach to good news when they go, then you find it sad when you only get bad news. But if you don't push the bad news away and you don't pull the good news in, then when they come and go, it will not affect you. See? It will not make you sad. So that's the goal of meditation, to make your mind just to be like a mirror, okay? You know a mirror?
Yes.
When somebody look at the mirror, sometimes they smile at the mirror, and sometimes they frown at the mirror. What does the mirror do? Nothing, right?
Right, Ajahn.
Okay, that's the mind, that's the citta. You want to make the citta like a mirror. Just reflect the truth and not reacting to the truth that it reflects. That's why the Buddha said, when what you see, just merely see. What you hear, just merely hear.
Like by here.
Yeah. Okay. You understand? Yeah.
I understand, Ajahn. Thank you.
No reaction, no love or hate from when you see or you hear things. Okay. But normally our defilement will be the actor. Every time we see or hear things, our defilement will be the lead actor, right?
Okay. So may I make one addendum to the question, please? So this is very helpful, but I noticed as Ajahn was speaking and said, bad news can come, good news can come, then there was a little thought like, oh, is something bad going to happen? Is something good going to happen? And then it was like, oh, that was a little bit of curiosity, but then it came back, or it like dissolved back in.
Because they are thoughts, they're not real. You just think about them.
Okay.
So when you stop, then you just wait for the good news and the bad news to come. You know, you cannot force them not to come when they come.
Yeah. Okay. They just come, but I don't, the chitta doesn't go out to find it.
Yeah, just let it come. Let them come, good or bad.
Okay.
And just not reacting, just maintaining equanimity. And you will always be peaceful and happy in the midst of good news or bad news.
Okay. Thank you, Ajahn.
Okay. This is a different type of happiness, not the happiness you get from hearing good news, but it's the happiness of equanimity, arising from equanimity.
Yeah.
Once you have equanimity, then you can always have this type of happiness, regardless of whether you're running into good news or bad news.
Ajahn, it's a different kind. I think there are different kinds of equanimity, maybe because jhana equanimity for me feels different than this now.
Yes, this is wisdom equanimity. You have two levels.
Okay.
And this is much stronger, wisdom equanimity, and long-lasting.
Okay.
That's why you want to go, once you have the equanimity from jhana, then you want to move up to the equanimity from wisdom.
Yeah, it's more it's
more stable, let's put it that way.
Yeah, more stable. Yes, and less.
Forever, it lasts forever once you got it with
Yeah.
wisdom.
Yeah, there's no. It's not tinged with desire.
It get rid of the desire. With wisdom,
Yeah.
you get rid of desire.
Yeah.
So you know
Okay.
that the best thing for the mind is not to react to anything, just to be merely knowing.
Yeah.
Because things in this world keep changing from bad to good, from good to bad, keep switching back and forth, and you cannot control them. So you don't want to be like a ping pong ball, bouncing back and forth with good news and bad news, or a pendulum swinging left and right. You want to keep the pendulum in the middle, not swinging. That's where equanimity is for the mind, the middle. Anyway, try it, practice it.
Okay.
Get this, just try to maintain equanimity anywhere, anytime, whether you're meditating or not. If you're not, you can either use mindfulness or wisdom to get your mind back into equanimity when it is emotionally involved with things. Then you should pull it back. So you're not merely knowing now, you are involving with things, with people. So you want to pull it back to
Okay.
equanimity, either by using a mantra, Bhutto, 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 that's mindfulness, or using 3 characteristics of existence, Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. Try it anyway, and let me know, see how it works for you.
Okay.
All
Thank
right?
you.
Okay. Next, Gary, where are you from? From Singapore? You have to unmute your microphone. See the unmute? Okay.
Can you hear me, Thanachan?
Can you speak a bit louder? Yeah, okay.
Thanachan, yes, I'm from Singapore.
All right.
And no questions today, just listening in.
Okay. All right. And let me go to Belinda from Singapore also. Hi, Belinda. Any question today?
I just have no questions today.
Okay. Your mind's okay? Happy? Not so happy.
Not in the Dhamma way. It's a worldly way.
Still worry about things, right? You don't see Anicca, Dukkha, Anatta. You cannot control things that you worry. Anything can happen. Que sera, sera. Huh? Okay. All right. Joseph. Hi, Joseph from Malaysia.
Hi, Ajahn. Hi.
Any question today?
Yeah, Ajahn, I would like to ask you to share a little bit about the 8 vicissitudes of life, like praise and blame. And
yes.
The others. Is it about duality?
Well, they come they're like a coin. See, they have 2 sides to it. Wealth, you have what you call rising of wealth and losing of wealth, because you cannot always control wealth, right? Sometimes you get more wealth, sometimes you get less wealth.
Yes.
And status is the same. Sometimes you get a promotion, and sometimes you get a demotion.
Yes.
Sometimes you are fired from your work. So then you lose your status as a manager or whatever position you were in. And praise always, there's not only praise in this world, there's always some criticism. And happiness and sadness also. These are the four pairs, or the 8 destitutes, as you mentioned. So you want to stay away from them. I mean, you can come into contact with them, but don't try to become attached to them. But we cannot help but be attached to wealth, to status, to praise, and to happiness. Once you do that, then you are also will be subjected to the opposite when it happens. So when you lose wealth, you become sad. When you lose your position, your status, you become sad. When you lose praises and you get criticism, you become sad. When you lose happiness and you come up with unhappiness, then you become sad. But if you're not involved with them, you not have anything to do with them, then whether they come or go will not bother you. That's the goal of practice. And in order to let go of this thing, you have to have something to replace them. See? Right now, you rely on them to make as your source of happiness. Money, status, praise, and happiness from the sensual object. So if you want to give them up, then you have to replace them with something else. And the something is jhana, or mental peace.
Right, right.
Jhana and vipassana.
Right.
First you go to jhana and then we move up to vipassana. That's when you have a better type of happiness. Then you can give up your old type of happiness.
So these dualities are realities of life, which will come in both ways.
There are three characteristics: impermanence. They keep changing, rising and ceasing, going up and coming down and go up again, come and go. And anatta, you cannot force them.
So
and if you cling to them when they go, then you become sad. You have dukkha.
Right.
So if you see them as three characteristics, then you say, no, I don't want to have anything to do with them, because I will get dukkha if I deal with them. If I own them, if I possess them and rely on them for my happiness.
Right.
Then when they change, it's gonna cause me dukkha or sadness or pain. So it's better to rely on my own type of happiness that I can always maintain. That is mindfulness and wisdom.
Yeah, right.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next, Philip and Adeline from Malaysia also.
I don't have any questions tonight, Ajahn.
Your wife, does she have one?
No, I'm just listening in today.
Just listening today.
Okay, then Alvin is next then. Hi, Alvin.
Good evening, Ajahn. Good evening, Ajahn. I don't have any questions today.
No
Thanks.
question either, okay. Then we'll come to Michael Bizert, if I pronounce your name correctly, Michael, from Brazil.
Yes, hi, Ajahn. Good to see you. Yeah,
Yes.
the pronunciation is Bicep. It's a German name.
Bicep, okay.
Yes.
Bicep.
Yes. Good to see you. And I have a question about Chitta Nupassana.
Chitta Nupassana.
Yeah,
That's
I have recently read a book by Ajahn Tun. The title of the book is The Sacred Equation. And in the book, he mentions that Chitta Nupassana means contemplating thoughts and emotions.
Study the nature of thoughts and emotion, that they are anicca, dukkha, anatta.
Right. And my question is, and maybe some of my question has been answered already in the answer you gave to Julia's question, but just to make sure, my understanding is that to develop samadhi, one has to silence the thoughts, and that has been my experience.
That's right.
But when one achieves some level of samadhi and wants to develop insight on thoughts and emotions, Chitta Nupassana, the question is, how should one deal with them?
See, you're not in samadhi all the time. You're not in jhana all the time. See.
No,
Actually,
I know, but I have been practicing, because of the virus, and I live alone. I have been practicing almost the whole day since March last year. And I came to Chitta Nupassana recently. because before that I was doing basically body contemplation based on your teachings.
Yes.
And I practice more walking meditation because I think that's more challenging, exactly to watch thoughts and emotions. And my understanding, and that goes to the question, is to observe after some samadhi has been developed and the mind is quiet, is calm, no thoughts, but to contemplate Chittanupassana, thoughts will come up. And so my understanding is that one should observe the thoughts based on wisdom, which would be the three characteristics. Or as you mentioned to Julia, just knowing, no reaction. And not allowing the thoughts to proliferate, and also not allowing thoughts based on kilesas. And when they arrive, using the meditation object to avoid that. But by doing walking meditation and with all the senses more or less active, the thoughts arise. But if it is a thought that is kind of, let's say, neutral, one does not notice any kilesas, or there is no proliferation. I mean, the thoughts arise and then immediately they disappear. Would that be correct? Or how? I mean, the question is really, how should one deal with thoughts and emotions in Chittanupassana?
Well, emotion and thoughts are just like feelings. They are made up of three parts. I mean, three. Well, I can think of, but they have good thoughts and bad thoughts and neutral thoughts. So same way with emotion, good emotion, bad emotion, and neutral emotion. So what you want to do is just to merely know them and leave them alone. Let them come and go, just like feelings. You have painful feeling, good feeling, and not neutral feeling. You don't want to let them overwhelm you, or have anything to cause your mind to react to them. You want the mind to remain merely knowing, because if you don't, you would normally want to engage and manage them. See? We like good thoughts, we don't want bad thoughts. We like good emotion, we don't want good emotions, bad emotions. But you cannot force them to be good emotion all the time, good thoughts all the time. Sometimes bad emotion, bad thoughts come up. And if you cannot force them to go away, then you will have dukkha. But if you learn to live with them, see, live with bad emotion, living with bad thought, let them come and go.
So, but if a thought starts to proliferate, then I should use the meditation object to stop them.
Therefore, if you use the mindfulness as a tool, but if you use wisdom, then you just say, well, this thought, either good or bad, it's gonna disappear sooner or later. It's anicca, anatta. I cannot force it to stop right now. So just let it be. Then that you're using wisdom to deal with them. If you can use wisdom, then you will not then be affected by bad thoughts. You just merely knowing, or say, oh, you just say, okay, today we have bad thoughts. But as long as you don't react and don't follow with these bad thoughts, then they come and go eventually. Don't let them move you. Don't let them, control you. Let's put it that way. Sometimes we are controlled by our thoughts and emotion. We want to be free from them. We just want to be merely acknowledging them. Don't let them move you.
Yeah, it's an interesting insight, similar to the body, that the thoughts are really not ours. It's not me.
Yeah, they are mental phenomena. They are mental phenomena.
Yeah.
And you cannot force them to have only good thoughts. Because thoughts are caused by various conditions around you. Your body feeling, your body health, your people around you, things around you, the weather. This can always cause you to have bad thoughts or good thoughts also. But in order to deal with them in a peaceful and calm way, just to let them be. Then you don't have to do anything. You don't have to try to fix them all the time. Or else you will try to keep fixing them when you have bad thoughts, you want to get rid of them. Which normally when you first start doing practice, you do that by using mindfulness. If you have bad thought and you cannot, and your mind start to reacting and causing you more stress in your mind, then you use mindfulness, a mantra or something to stop these thoughts. But once you have stronger mind, stronger mindfulness, then you can refrain your mind from reacting to this bad thought, and then you can just let this bad thought comes and go by themselves.
As you mentioned, this just knowing, no reaction.
That's right. And if you should react only on rationality, based on because you still have to deal with people and things, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
But you don't want to react with emotion, love or hate, for instance. You react because you have to do this because this is your job. You have to do this, then you do it. But you don't do it out of love or hatred. But you react to things or people. And if you don't have to, then you don't react. Just leave them alone. So the more you withdraw inside, then the less you will be engaging with people and things. Anyway, because you can be happy being alone, so you don't need to engage with people or things.
Yeah, I know that. As I mentioned, I spend almost every day only on my own, so I have that experience.
And you find that better, right?
Yes. Yes.
And you can deal with your problems more effectively by being alone.
Yeah, also not talking makes a big difference.
Yeah, because talking means you are thinking. Before you can talk or say anything, you have to think first. So when you don't talk, you block that path of the thoughts from going out to your mouth. Then you'll find it easier for you to stop the thoughts altogether. Okay, does this answer your question, more or less?
Thank you very much, Ajahn, and thank you very much for your teachings. And,
You're welcome.
wish you well.
You're in Brazil, right? In Brazil.
Yes, I'm in Brazil.
All right. Let me go to Alfredo. He's also from Brazil. Hi, Alfredo.
Hi, Bante. How are you?
You know Michael?
Yes, Michael is a friend, a retired friend, and other things. Michael is very good people. Michael know other teachers. Michael know Ajahn Dhamma. Michael know Nalanda Brazil teachings. Michael is very important people to us. Michael traducing. I was in your house when you traduce the inside the suttas, né? A lot of suttas in Brazilian language and English language too, and the other married with a woman that helped him. Michael is very important people. I'm very grateful to Michael, to your teachings and your Dhamma talks too. Michael is very important to people's know Dhamma. I think know Dhamma is not easy. Some people think that Dhamma is easy, but Dhamma is not easy.
So many Brazilians who study the Dhamma would know Michael, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any question from you today? Any question from you today?
My samadhi is very, very okay. Né? I don't have problem with my samadhi. I see it very okay. I don't enter in second jhana, but I not need. I think I not need. I already know for jhana. I know upachara. I not need second jhana. I very okay on samadhi. My samadhi. My pana with your teachings is very good. My pana is more hard, is more interesting for me, né? And my thoughts is controlling. I'm very good. My sila is good. I have to good, not reactive things, not a prime. My obstacles is controlled, né? My hindrances is very okay to good life.
All right. So long you're happy, then there's no problem then. Okay.
Yes. Thanks.
All right. Let me say hello to Anura. Hi, Anura. You're next.
Hello, Ajahn.
From New Zealand.
Oh, yeah.
From the south or north island?
I'm in South Thailand. I'm Christchurch, just where the
Christchurch.
earthquakes happened 10 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And Ajahn, thank you. I have received the Dhamma books from Jap. So thank you so much. Very appreciated.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I have one question, just a technical question to clarify. In Dhamma book, it said that there's no animal or sattva living in us. But when there is life, body moves and reacts, and it's just like behaving as an animal. But then when there is no life, yes, it's like just a 4-element combination of 4 elements. So what does this life means? Is it 4-element, or is it chitta, or it's an energy?
Well, it depends on how you define life. See, a plant also has life, right? A tree, you can define it because it's living, but it has no consciousness. The difference between the trees and the human body or animal body is that the human body and animal body has a citta attached to it, so it also has consciousness. But as far as the body alone is concerned, it's just like a tree, like a plant. And one day this body will then dissolve and return to the 4 elements, just like the trees or the plants. And then the citta or the mind will be separated from the body, and then it will go look for a new body to attach to connect to, because it needs the body to get pleasure from the sensual objects. That's what rebirth is about. See, changing of one body to the next by the citta. As long as the citta still have sensual pleasure, it needs a body to achieve that purpose. But as soon as we can get rid of the sensual pleasure, the sensual desire, the desire for sensual pleasure, then you won't need a body anymore. You become an anagami.
Yeah. Okay.
But then you still rely on the jhana. So an anagami still rely on the jhanas to make it happy, him happy. If you want to get to nibbana, you have to get rid of your attachment to jhanas in the end. And then you'll be able to enter into nibbana.
Yeah.
So we do it step by step. First, we switch our source of happiness from sensual objects to jhana. Once we get to jhana, then we have to switch this to get into nibbana.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn. Thank you.
Next, Ben. Hi, Ben. Where are you from?
Hi, Ajahn. I'm from Singapore.
First time?
Yes, first time joining the session. Yeah.
Okay. Can I help you?
Yeah. So I have one question regarding Dana. Although Singapore is not a welfare state, but the government is actually doing a lot for the people. And sometimes I feel that there are some organizations which are raising funds to support some needy causes. But and then I also want to I was thinking of wanting to contribute as well. But then on the other hand, I also know that if we just let the government know and the government will take care of it. So it seems that doing good in Singapore is like a bit of competing with what the government is already doing. So I mean a bit of dilemma on whether to support such fundraising efforts.
But the government cannot do all. There'll probably be somewhere that the government has not covered. Then you can do that part. The government cannot help everybody in Singapore.
Probably,
Somebody
yeah.
will be left out, and then you cannot help those people who are left out. See?
Okay. Yeah, but yeah, I think that I understand. Thank you.
Okay. Look, in America, richest country in the world, there's still lots of homeless people. The government cannot look after, and they rely on charitable organizations like Salvation Army for food, for shelter. So there's always room for make dana if you want to do charity. There's always room for you to do it.
Right. Okay. Another question is about the Anapanasati Sutta. So in the Anapanasati Sutta, it states, the sequence of how you should be focusing on your breathing, or what you will be experiencing. So my question is whether is it a natural progression, or is it something that you intentionally follow?
No, it means that your breath will change when you meditate. See? It will change from coarse to subtle, from short to long. And all you have to do is to know them for what they are, that's all. Don't have to react, don't have to manage, don't have to do anything to the breath. Just merely knowing them for what they are. That's
Okay.
what it means in the sutta.
So you do not need to like intentionally practice like the whole breath or the long, the short.
You don't do anything with the breath. You use the breath as an anchor to prevent your mind from drifting away to go thinking about other things.
Right.
That's all.
Okay. And then you will naturally, does it mean that you will naturally progress according to the steps of that?
That's right. It will go automatically, like an automatic transmission. You don't have to worry about shifting the transmission.
Is it in the same sequence? Would it be in the same sequence as a
More or
sutta?
less, sometimes slightly different. Different people might have different. Some people can go from one to fourth, like falling from a high place. So some people go like step by step, from first to second, from second to third to fourth eventually. But it's not for you to worry about when you meditate. You just, only thing you worry about is your breath. Just keep watching your breath. And don't think about any other thing.
Right. Okay. Okay. All right. That's all for me tonight. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Yannasangwararam from Lebanon.
Hello, Bande.
Yes. Any question today? You must be cold, huh? Putting a hoodie on.
Yeah, so it's about 8 degrees right now.
8 degrees, yeah, quite cold. You don't have any heater in your room?
Yeah, I do. I do, but I keep the door open also and bring some cold air. That's my cat. So yeah, my question, Bante, is I go through these short depressive episodes where I feel like I need some kind of let's say non-dhammic activities to keep some balance in my mind, to get too depressed. So, what do you suggest for this case? Do you think it's okay?
See, we were just talking about this with Michael about Chittanupassana. This is Chittanupassana. If you have strong mindfulness and equanimity, you can just leave them alone. Let them come and go. You don't have to do anything if you can do it. But sometimes your mind already reacting to the bad emotion and you want to get rid of it. That creating more stress to your mind, see, to the point where you feel that you have to somehow get rid of these emotions. So you cannot use vipassana yet if you don't have strong mindfulness and equanimity. So you need to use you need to develop or train yourself with mindfulness and use mindfulness to deal with these emotions or state of mind. This is the best way, rather than trying to do it physically, like traveling, going someplace else. It will keep following you wherever you go. It's just a temporary relief, you know. So it's better just to sit down, face it, you know, and not running away from it by using mindfulness or wisdom if you can. Tell yourself it's gonna go away if you don't do anything to it. If you don't react, just merely knowing. Nothing lasts, everything is anicca. But it can take a while. You just have to be patient. If you're not patient, then your mind will react and wants to get rid of it, wants it to go away. Then you're creating more stress.
I used to be able, like my mind used to be very good with this when I was practicing the Cuenca Vipassana method. But it seems when I switched to focus on jhana meditation, then I kind of lost that ability. My mind now, it doesn't look at the tilakkhana at all. It's just focusing on breath, breath, breath. And then when the whole negative emotion or this kind of depressive mood takes over, it kind of feels like a hopeless case. And it feels like my practice is not really solving this problem.
Yeah, your practice is not strong enough to keep your mind with the breath. You become distracted by your emotions.
But it's like when I do look at the breath, sometimes it's bringing those emotions more strongly. You know what I mean? Even when I am focused on the breath, it feels it's making the whole situation worse in some cases.
That's because you're not really watching the breath. You're still in the back of your mind watching your emotion, have this desire to have this emotion disappear. You have to forget it and just be entirely with your breath. But it's not easy, you know. I'm just speaking. You have to be persistent with your mindfulness, either with your breath or with a mantra, and just let the emotion run its own course. You run on your, it's like you both are running on two separate courses. Let the emotion run on this course, and you run on your mindfulness course. You keep reciting the mantra, watching your breath. If you can do that, then eventually the emotion will run out of its course. It will then change.
So the karma causing this emotion will eventually dissipate.
Yes. Yeah, as long as you just stay put with your breath or with your mantra, don't react to them.
Yeah, I find also chanting is helping me a lot, and I'm trying to memorize
the 32 parts of the body.
No, I'm not doing that right now. Like chanting the paritas.
Oh, the paritas. Okay, yeah. Good. Anything that will keep your mind away from the emotion is okay. It's good. Your emotions and feelings can cause your mind to react strongly. emotionally and then creating more stress for you. So in that case, you should try to ignore them by concentrating on your parita or your chanting some discourses. Okay?
And Bhante, one more thing. Do you have any experience with people who know how to put curse on someone?
Well, I think they're just beliefs, I think. I don't think anybody can curse anybody. In the Buddha said the only thing that can curse you is your own karma, good and bad karma.
So if there's no karma, then the curse won't work, basically.
The curse is just a superstition, I think. But sometimes it might coincide with your bad karma, and then you say, "Oh, he's cursing me, and I'm feeling bad. I'm getting this bad consequence." So you think it's a curse, but actually it's your karma, your bad karma, just happened to take effect at that time, that moment. So just believe in karma. Don't worry about other things. The Buddha never teaches about any other thing but karma, good and bad karma. And he tells us to avoid doing bad karma because it gives us bad consequences. And just keep doing good karma and it will provide you with good consequences. Okay? All right. Next, Edwin Tan from Singapore.
Hi, good evening, Ajahn. Ajahn, very happy to see you today. I have one question as a follow-up to Michael's question earlier.
Go ahead.
So based on my experience, an arising of a thought leads to arising of bodily sensations, and bodily sensations might also lead to arising of a thought. So when an undesirable thought arises or an unpleasant thought arises, comes the bodily sensation. So I'll use the example of dealing with sexual desire. Let's say there's a arising of sexual desire. So what I'm doing right now is just watching it arise. But to what extent should we watch it and then let it be? Because there'll be this bodily unease, sensations in the body, and sometimes it might take 1 day or 2 days to fully subside. If we are watching with wisdom, do we just let it be, let the world go by, just let it run its course? Or do we need to do something to make it tone down a little, Ajahn?
It depends on how strong your mind is. If you can just let them be, then let them be. But if you cannot, there are tools you can use to get rid of them. Like a super contemplation can help get rid of your sexual desire. So it depends on what type of emotion that arises. Sometimes you have the tools, sometimes you don't have the tools. If you don't have them, you use the anicca, anatta as a tool. They come and go. You cannot, they're like the weather. You just have to ignore them and then concentrate on something to calm your mind, like your breath or something, and leave those things alone. And then they will get rid of themselves eventually.
Okay, Ajahn. So the I would say difficulty, if I can put it, that I'm facing is not with, let's just still use the topic of sexual desire, it's not facing it when I'm alone. It's like when I have to do something and yet there's this like shaking on the inside, or when I'm busy with something, then there are all these bodily sensations. So when times when these bodily sensations are too much for me to focus on the task, then would it be more appropriate to just use a mantra or to switch the attention, or to still just let it be with whatever shakings there are inside the body?
Well, you have to try it yourself, which one works for you. Nothing is better than experience. Telling you now just a matter of telling you. But either method, you can use either mindfulness or wisdom, insight. Both of them works, but one works temporarily and one works permanently.
Okay, Ajahn, would I be right in saying that? So in the end or in the long run, it's like whatever happens, it's okay in the morning, it's okay in the night, it's also okay. So we just let things run its course, and this is working with wisdom. Would it be?
That's right. Eventually, Bahiya, the Buddha told the Bahiya, just let things go, let them be. The mind just merely know them for what they are. If your mind is strong enough with equanimity, then you can do that. But if your mind is weak in equanimity, it will react. Okay?
Okay, thank you very much, Ajahn.
Right. Next is Constance. Hi, Constance, where are you from?
Hi, Ajahn. I'm from Singapore.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, Ajahn, I have a question that is sort of a lead up, sort of similar to Michael's question. I said that, I realized that after I try to practice mindfulness more, I try to meditate more, I'm able to avoid certain situations from escalating by not reacting to them. So physically, I don't say anything, I don't do anything. So it sort of just die off on its own. And then, but I am not able to get rid of the feelings mentally. And I find myself, because I'm quite empathetic, I am able to feel compassion for the other person for the bad way, let's say bad way that they may be behaving. But at the same time, I struggle to try to find kindness for them. So when faced with such a situation, what can I do?
Well, you need to get to equanimity. That's when you can leave things alone.
Mm-hmm.
So just meditate, focus your mind on your breath, recite a mantra, and then just leave everything alone.
So it's something that again have to just go through go through time to slowly. Okay.
If you cannot do anything, then the best thing is just to do nothing.
Mm.
And to be able to do nothing happily, you have to have equanimity.
Okay. So there's no shortcut or practice whereby I can try to grow more kindness for these people, because I do want it, but at the same time, I find myself angry.
Well, see, kindness is conditional to your ability to give. Can you give kindness? If you cannot give kindness, then you just have to stop. How much money can you give, right? You can only give so much. Once you reach your limit, then you have to stop giving. Something like that. So you have to know your limit, how much kindness you can give.
Okay. So if I can't, then I just acknowledge it, and then I just continue on my practice and
That's right.
And let
keep your mind in equanimity and say, you can only do so much. You cannot help everybody in this world to get rid of the suffering.
Okay, thank you, Ajahn.
All right. Okay, who's next? Let me see. I have to switch to
Vilasini.
Vilasini from Germany. Hi. You come in the wrong room today. You're supposed to be in the Thai room.
Actually, I have no questions today, but I just would like to give you an update of my meditation practicing. So it was a very crazy week at work for me, but interestingly, I discovered something very new just for myself. So I was so exhausted. I was suffer under the sleeping deficit, just 2-3 hours a day, and then I have really to work a lot to push everything. I did manage that. on one hand, and on the other hand, I was able to keep the standard of my meditation practicing, meaning that I was able to spend 3 hours on the meditation. But interesting and surprising is that, but to be honest, I did not expect under such a condition to continue meditation, but I did that, and I found out that I could enter very quickly into samadhi, and where I see suddenly the moonlight, and I was able to keep my focus on the moonlight, and where when I just came out again from samadhi, I realized this 2 hours has passed. It's quite interesting and surprising, to be honest, because I thought I was so exhausted and I will fall asleep after a few minutes, and that's it. I just want to keep my standard. I just want to try, but what came out is really good for me. So I think probably I have to consider, I don't know the English word, nesachi.
Nesachi.
Yeah,
Not sleeping.
I have to
Not
consider
sleeping.
that if I just want to be, next step and just to develop myself.
If you find it useful for you, you can then use it, because it makes you do more practice than sleeping.
Yeah, that's it. On one hand, Prajan, I see some advance on the meditation practicing, but on the other hand, just because of our sleep debt, I did a lot of mistakes at work. That is the thing. Yeah, I have probably to find where's the balance.
Yeah, you have to balance. Sometimes you have to force yourself to go to sleep. Using reason, that you have to go to work. If you only meditate, then you don't have to worry about working. Then you can if you want to meditate all night long, then it's okay. But you have to also tell yourself that the body needs rest. You can only force it to not sleep for so long, but eventually it's gonna fall asleep.
So far, I remember you did mention in the Thai meeting section that is kind of like 2 ways of doing nesachi. First, not eating. The second is you sleep less. So I don't know if this are probably too talented for me to do both in the same time, not eating and not sleeping.
You never know until you try it.
Yeah, probably I have to just like pick some day on the weekend and try it. Yeah.
Or you can just try one at a time first. Try not sleeping one day. The next day try fasting. And then the next day you might want to try both. I don't know. Just it's up to you. See.
If I will survive after that.
There's no fixed formula here. Each individual has to find their own formula, their own techniques in order to stimulate their practice.
Yes, you're right.
If you live normally, eat normally, your practice will be normal. But when you
try something new, something
something more
that push you.
Yeah, that push you more dukkha, more suffering.
Yeah, to bring you to bring myself under the extreme condition.
That's right. That will force you to use mindfulness more, force you to use more wisdom to cope with the stress, with the extreme conditions.
Thank you very much, Kafrajan. I do not have our questions today.
Okay. Nice talking to you. See you tomorrow night, maybe?
Yes, of course. Tomorrow again.
Okay, next. Kate Yen So from Penang. Any question today?
Good evening, Ajahn. No question today, listening, Ajahn.
Okay. No question from Kate. Then who's next?
Kenneth.
Kenneth, okay, from Switzerland. Professor, hi.
Hello, Ajahn. I'm just listening at the moment. I have no questions at the moment.
Are you teaching today?
Yes, I have in this new semester, I have quite a lot of teaching on Tuesdays, unfortunately. But I'll try to join a bit late today.
Okay. All right, then let me go to Vince Chua
Good.
from Singapore. Vince, any question? Somehow your microphone is not working. We cannot hear you. I think that's because when you enter the room, they ask you to use the computer microphone, and you did not click on that, so we cannot hear your voice. You have to go out of the room and come back in again. Okay, leave the room and then re-enter the room. And when they ask you to click on using computer audio, you should click on that. Okay, see you in a few minutes. All right. Next is Matthew from Washington, D.C. Matthew and Emily.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Hi. Okay, are you okay?
Yeah, we're good. Morning here in Virginia.
Any question?
No questions from me. Do you?
No questions today. Doing better.
All right. Just keep meditating. Keep training in mindfulness. Okay, I think next is Alexa. Alexa Room from the Netherlands. Brazilian with the shirt, the yellow and green color.
Yeah, then you know now I'm from Brazil. It's last time I didn't. Hello, nice to meet you, teacher. I'm following your Zoom lessons. Your share everything you share, not all the text, but all the visual image. And well, I decided to reduce my activities. So yeah, it was not possible very much to stay in the room, not yet closer to the room because many things. I bought a new telephone and things like that. So you know how it goes with the mind. Not easy just to lock yourself down and stop to create activity. And actually I don't need, but I'm used to. So I bought a hang mat. And in Brazil, we used to, in the north of Brazil, we used to live inside the hang mat. Wherever we go, we bring our hang mat and stay inside all the time. So you can sleep on it, you can sit on it, and it's ground me. It's very good for it's very relaxed. It feels very good and feels home also because it's like in the belly mother, you know, you feel. You sleep with the toes in the mouth, you know, it's fantastic. And to cool down is I think that's the main thing, to let the heart feels home. And therefore I'm avoiding to participate with the Zooms, but I always follow you. And when I have a properly question, because most of questions I don't need to make to you, not yet. I already did. And also another nice thing is that the Dhamma is teaching me. So like last time you said to the person, to a lady, whatever you want to do, to meditate is more tasty, is more nice. You change it, say no, meditation better. It's really help. Okay.
Okay.
It was not a question of me, but that's what happened between me and you. I always learn from you. If I take another video from a long time ago, I put it there, it's like timing. I learn from you without I need to question really you. But when there will be a real question, I will need you because my goal is to Dhamma. Because I did that all my life long. So I want to go to the nature and to do it in the nature. I study a lot. Ajahn Mun, and it's really inspired me. And I need this kind of vibration, you know. This is a strong thing. I have this all my life. I grew up on the streets, and also academic and everywhere. I want to go. I just focus my mind, and I have to. Yeah, I was also. I had to beg for a time also, and living in the streets too. So all my life I was like a monk. I told you, sleeping on the ground. We had all these kind of things, and now I find that yeah, Buddha is even the concept of my art was this construction, you know. So then I find Buddha. I don't need more the khandhas, the material thing. I go to the material thing, you know, to disconstruct it. So I don't need more studio. I don't need more my tools, my materials. I have it all here, so it's perfect. It's going really. And then I have you as a teacher who have been there so close. I have one question. Yes, you was with the Mahaboa for 9 years without really locked out. It didn't allow you even to go to your home, right?
Except for the first 5 years, I wasn't allowed to go anywhere. But after the first 5 years, I'm allowed to go visit my family for a brief period.
Yeah, because I noticed I was much more concentrated in some aspects, and I noticed when I received some friend from Brazil here how much it goes behind, you know. But
yes.
Still we learn in another field. We still going on also, but it's also part of the thing is to mastering it. So I came back so many times in this level, but now that I'm not. I feel secure, especially with you around, you know. Then I really that was all what I needed. I just need peace in my heart, in my mind, and I have it all. So I don't like to share with you that I have yeah, maybe 5 years to go now from now to my retirement. I can do it here, but it's too much luxury for me. I don't need these things anymore, and I also don't feel attracted to communicate to nothing, to nobody. Also, was a very nice event in Brazil politically. Therefore, I used this T-shirt also to celebrate a little bit. A little justice was done there, and but I'm happy, but not. I don't mind anymore. You understand?
Yeah. It's better not to react to good news, because when you get bad news, you will react again.
Yeah, if you be too happy, then you know the other right. Point. You'll be sad again. So
that's right.
To be prudent, yes.
Yeah.
But it's not only this. It's just that I feel really, let's say, I don't have a effect on it really. It is what it is, and I have a lot to do in myself, and. Yeah, and like you said, I hope that I get close to something very, very, very nice. But when it's over, time is over. Time is over. Yes.
Just be ready to face the bad news again. It will come again. You'll have bad news again, and good news. They come and go.
I don't mind. I face my pain today. Today I have a lot of pain. Then I say, okay, let's watch it out.
Yeah.
And then I watch it out. It was much less, but too long time. And then after I don't know, 15 minutes, to not exaggerate. And then I said, oh, I think I have an appointment.
Okay. Is that all? Well, you know, okay, nice to listen to you. But I have to go to somebody else for more questions, okay?
Okay, thank you for that.
I think everybody has a chance to answer a question.
Wind is coming now.
Vince coming in. Okay, Win, are you in yet? Okay, Vince.
Good evening, Ajahn. I'm from Singapore, and
Okay.
first time attending this talk, and I got many questions such that it can help me to check my practice.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So basically, I think that for me right now, I only value stillness and awareness. As long as every day I like to check the knower. As long as I have knower, there's this knower will you just check the calm in your heart. Then you know that you can summon the knower up. So when you get when your knower starts to get weakened, where you just need to tune up the stillness or the concentration, then I'm back to normal. So
that's right.
I call this automatic awareness. That means but the thing about this is that this automatic awareness, it just need to tune the stillness and check your calm, then you're back to your knower stage every time. But I find that the mindfulness, the four foundation, because everybody walks a path, we know about four foundation of mindfulness. The automatic awareness seems to fade away the foundation, the four foundation of mindfulness. That means you just need to be fully aware. Whatever it comes in body, in mind, in feelings, you just take it like that. Is it correct?
That's right.
Okay. Then the second question that I have is that sometimes how I tune up my stillness, whether I think is correct or not, is that if I find that if I want to tune, I check my calmness. If my calmness drop, I go back to my stillness, right? So the stillness is like I listen to a sentence, I listen to the gap of the two words, then the stillness will come back. Is that okay?
Yes, that's okay, as long as you can get to the stillness.
Okay. And because in Buddhism, we always talk about attachment and aversion. So I'm very careful about this because the knower is aware. But what I'll do is that as long as I have the knower in place, if I find that people, they are so-called pleasant feelings, right, and not avoid to attach or tilt my head forward, and then the breath will comes up, then I know that I acknowledge that pleasant feelings only, such that I don't get attached. Okay. And then if it's a negative feelings, I will tilt my head backward and move it away and say that, hey, let's not go into the emotion. So I'm wondering whether am I trying to detach from negative feelings, say, oh, danger zone, don't go, just move back. And then if it's sweet or attachment one, I'll just tilt forward and the breath will comes up and then the awareness will come back, the stillness will come back. So is there any form of pushing away of negative emotion?
I think this is a method of mindfulness, just being aware. But to use wisdom, you have to see them as impermanent, anicca, anatta, not under your control. So then you just leave them alone. Let them come and go by themselves. And this is vipassana.
And there's also one method that I also like to play along is that gratitude. So gratitude to me is like, if I see everything with gratitude, it seems like the joy and happiness will comes up. It seems like gratitude is also like a mantra. It's also like a vitaka vichara, like initial application. I bring the attitude words up, then the heart feels it, the knower comes up, and then your full awareness is up there. So am I doing too much on the pleasant feelings, or I just use that to trigger my awareness?
Yeah, I think you use it. It's just like a like a Buddha mantra. For you, gratitude it seems to be the right one for you.
Oh, okay.
So to calm your mind, to bring your mind to the knower, back to the knower.
So I think at the end of the day, everybody should check the knower. Is that correct? Or
at the end of the day, everybody should be with the knower,
okay.
and not the thinker.
Oh, okay.
Don't follow your thought, just follow your knower, just merely know.
Okay, can. Yeah, so I think that's all I have. Thank you, Ajahn.
All right. Okay. I think everybody has. Now it's Kun Chansiri, Kun La. Any question from Facebook?
Yes, there are 7 questions from Facebook, Ajahn.
Go ahead.
First 3 questions from Po Liang Soon. Can we surrender ourselves to our existing bad karma?
You can. Whether you surrender or not doesn't matter. Your bad karma and good karma will take effect when the time comes for them to do so. But if you surrender and then you don't resist, then you have no dukkha.
And how to reduce bad karma that's happened?
Just don't add new bad karma. Just do only good karma from now on. Then your bad karma will eventually be reduced as it takes effect.
And mindfulness remains still, even don't need watching to the breath. I feel off get out, but the mindfulness pull me remain seated. May I know this progress of meditation?
Repeat again, please. Repeat again.
Mindfulness remains still, even don't need watching to the breath. I feel off get out, but the mindfulness pull me remain seated. May I know this progress of meditation?
Yes, if you can stay longer without coming out, that means you are advancing in your meditation practice.
And next question from Ben Chua. Ajahn, you have mentioned before in your previous broadcast regarding 4 days, 4 months, and max was 4 years. Is it referring to first jhana, equanimity, sotapanna, or straight away arahant instead?
Any level, I think the Buddha refers to either the 3rd or the 4th level, either an anagami or an arahant.
And next question from Ben Chua again. Reciting a mantra as concentration object, until which jhana we need to let go the mantra and go to the breath as object?
You don't go to the breath. If you use the mantra, try to stay with the mantra until it goes into jhana. If you want to use the breath, then you don't use the mantra. When you start, it depends on how strong your mindfulness is. If you cannot watch your breath, some people find it easier to recite the mantra, so they go with the mantra. But if you can watch your breath, then you don't have to use the mantra. Just watch your breath. But for some people, they cannot, when they first started, they cannot use the mantra or watching the breath. Then they have to do some chanting the sutta or something to calm their mind first, before they will be able to recite the mantra or watching the breath.
Next question from Lee Siu. Venerable Ajahn, I would like to know what caused sankhara dukkha and how is it arise?
Sankhara means the thought, one of the 4 namakanda. This is dukkha because you cannot force them to only think about good things. Sometimes things about bad things, and you don't want it to think. When you don't want it, then you get dukkha.
Next question from Po Liang Soon. In what progress in meditation that achieving liberation?
In meditation, you can get temporary liberation by entering into jhana. And if you want to have permanent liberation, you have to go up to vipassana and use the 3 characteristics of existence to let go of your attachment to everything. Then you'll get true liberation, permanent liberation.
And last question from Liao Yingmen has 3 questions. Does prayers help a person after death?
No, no. It's good or bad karma that you do now that will determine your future when you die. Whether you're gonna have a good existence in heaven or a bad existence in hell depends on your good and bad karma.
And would that person be reborn in heaven because of their prayer? What did
No.
Buddha say about this?
No, prayer doesn't get you anywhere. It's your good or bad karma that will get you. Good karma get you to heaven, bad karma get you to hell.
That's all the question.
Okay. Anybody now? This is okay, Matt, it's your turn. Go ahead, unmute. Can you unmute your microphone yet? Okay, go ahead.
Can you hear me, Ajahn?
Yes, yes.
Okay, great. Isn't spreading merit a form of good karma?
Spreading merit, sharing merit.
Yeah.
Yes, but it's a very small, more good karma. There are a lot more good karma than that. That is meditation and vipassana. So it's just the beginning stage of good karma.
Yeah, and also goodwill, and also metta meditation too,
Yes.
correct?
Yeah. But eventually you want to get to meditation, to samatha and vipassana meditation, to get to the real good karma.
Thank you.
With metta or with dana, you can go to heaven when you die. But with vipassana, with samatha, bhavana, it will get you to nibbana. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Anybody has question can raise your hand and unmute your microphone.
We have a new coming, Alfred Cole.
Alfred Cole? Okay. Alfred, where are you? Go ahead. Where are you from, Alfred? Speak, go ahead. We can. Talk, open up your mouth so we can hear you. Maybe you're not listening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, Ajahn. This is my third time joining this session.
Okay.
I'm from Kelantan, Malaysia.
All right. I think that's the
other day, actually, I told Ajahn that I would like to. Can you hear me now?
Yes, but you have to turn off something.
On my second session, actually, when I attended the second session, I told Ajahn that I would like to observe the 8 precepts. I would like to observe the 8 precepts for two times, okay, in a week, and I really put that into practice now. I have my 8 precepts observance for two times a week. Thank you, Ajahn, for inspiring me and motivating me. Thank you very much.
Good.
Sadhu.
Do more if you can. Do more. Maybe 3 or 4. You keep increasing until you do it every day.
Thank you very much. Because I get the inspiration, I just told myself, actually, I would like to just give it a try for 1 month first. Because before that, since MCO last year, since April last year, I observed 8 precepts once a week until now. And it was last week, I started twice a week.
Okay, good. When you find it beneficial, then you want to do more.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I hope so. Okay, I hope I can do that.
Okay. Is that all?
And that's all. Thank you so much.
Anybody wants to ask questions, raise your hand and unmute your microphone. Nobody? Okay, it's almost 2 hours now that we are meeting, 21:59. So, maybe then it's probably the time for us to say goodbye. Thank you very much for your participation. I hope this meeting will benefit you and advance you in your practice. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay mindful, and I'll see you next week. Goodbye.
สาธุค่ะ
Thank you, Ajahn.
Thank you ท่านอาจารย์
Thank you,
Ajahn. Sadhu, sadhu.
ขอที่หลัง
Thank you, Admin.
Thank you,
Bye
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you, Ajahn.
Thank you, admin.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Amit. Thank you, Kula.